Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Just start off, behold the beauty in the room. It's a gorgeous gathering. My name's Ethan Philbrick. I am a curator here at the Poetry Project, and I am truly honored and buoyed to be here with you all to celebrate the publication of Miss Major Speaks. We, after tonight's event, we will have copies of the book for sale along this round table here, so please come through, get books, also get signed, you know, we get to hang out. It is a wonderful and visionary, absolutely necessary book of incisive, nourishing, and moving conversations between Miss Major and Toshio Meronek, who are joined tonight by dear artists and activists Morgan Basakis and Una Asato. Let's have a round of applause for them all. Also, perhaps to state the obvious, we gather here on Veterans Day, and I am moved to think about what it means to be a veteran, not of a nationalist genocidal killing machine of the US military, but a veteran of the long fight and ongoing struggle for justice, celebrating the language of Miss Major on this Veterans Day in 2024 is truly the only place I'd like to be and the only way I'd like to be doing it. So thank you, and thank you. On the subject of thank yous, thank you to the whole Poetry Project staff for supporting tonight, James and Pedro on sound. Thank you also to Muriel Tarver for supporting tonight. And housekeeping things, there are bathrooms available upstairs here. If anybody wants to find a bathroom that's not upstairs, we can take you through. So find one of us by the door who seems to know what they're doing here. And then also, you know, we have not everybody, we are a little bit overflow tonight. So if you're someone who doesn't have a seat and this is gonna be uncomfortable for you, fine, you know, I know for a fact that there are some of my students from the new school over here in this section, and you can tap them on the shoulder, and take their seat. So, so please just, you know, feel out your needs, and if you need to, you know, take over a chair, just in sort of these rows over here, tap people and take their chairs. And please come back. We have readings Wednesday and Friday of this week, also then all next week. And lastly, let's just one more time, please, thank you and welcome to Miss Major. Thank you so much. And buy books afterwards.
Thank you, Ethan. Hi, everybody. My name is Una, and Major already started laughing. I'm Una, and I'm nervous. And Major is not. And I'm Una, I'm one of Major's daughters, and there's a number of Major's daughters and family and children and siblings. And if you are family with Miss Major, can you please make some noise? Woo! If you are new family to Miss Major, please make some noise. Woo! Okay, all right. We'll get you louder as we go on. We all know we are living in a terrible time, and it is, I feel like we're all pretty stunned, shocked, like gearing up and in already gear, and I just welcome us and myself to take a deep breath in and get to arrive being here tonight, and what a truly honor and gift it is to get to be in the presence of Major and Toshio and celebrate something that we all need now, and we will need for the future to fortify us as balm, as what holds us in these times. Miss Major and Muriel came all the way from Little Rock. Can we just give it up? That's a fucking far flight to come, yes. and we don't take that for granted at all. It's truly, truly, truly a gift to be in your presence. And we are just yeah, this is what we need. And I don't take any of this lightly. How this is like, oh, this is what we need. Okay. Sorry. I met Major almost 20 years ago through her life partner, Beck, who's one of our best friends. And her reputation preceded her. It was Miss Major. And I was like, who's Miss Major? And then, like, oh, that's Miss Major. And I've been in love and awe ever since. Just so grateful to be here. And am I kicking off the first question? No. Okay, this is the other person who's gonna ask questions.
Hey. Really grateful that we got to be together tonight. And Major, it's just such an honor that you're here with us, and this book that you have both made for us is such a gift.
Thank you.
It's such a gift, and I'm really, really glad that we have it, like Una said, now and any time. And I want to start with a quote from it as a lead-in to ask you our first question. So you talk about your a formative relationship in this book with Big Black when you were in prison at Dannemora Prison, and he had just transferred from Attica, where he was an organizer of the Attica Rebellion. And you, and this is part of this amazing way that this book weaves the tapestry of your political life, and also that has so shaped ours. And I think we can just acknowledge how our realities in this room have been indelibly and incalculably shaped by Miss Major's. It is not an exaggeration to say that we are possible because of you. And you talk about this powerful relationship you had with Black. And you say that he asked you, what do you go by, what's your name, baby? And he's the one that let me know that during things like the riot or getting justice done, stuff like that, you can't throw anybody under the bus. You can't leave anybody behind. And that's what became my favorite thing to say to people. I won't throw anybody under the bus. And I'm not leaving anybody. It has to include us all, or it's not going to work. It was mind-altering. It was like that epiphany that rings a bell in your brain. Bong. That's what it did. And I've spent the next 40 years trying to find out what bell I can set off to wake up my community. So just wanted to start with those. Yes, let's hear it for... And you know, you've not throwing anybody under the bus is something that you've taught us over and over again through your organizing, through your leadership, through your speaking. And I just wonder if you can start by telling us about the story of how this book came to be, and what is it like to now have your words out in the world for people to hold in this way. So yeah, just tell us anything that either of you both want to share about the story of this book.
Thank you. It started with my telling him about a story, as most of the book related to it. And years later, after he worked for me about 10 years, so 10 years, yeah. And after he left, he started to write it down,
Right.
you know. And I had, up until then, never really thought about it, you know. But when he did, it became apparent that, you know, that kind of thing is important to realize. And it is important that you don't throw anybody under the bus, you know, because we know what it's like to be thrown under the bus. We've all had it happen at one time or another. Someone said, oh, no, I'm not, and bam, there we are, you know. So, you know, if we don't do it, then it stops with us. and hopefully it'll go on, through the time, like you mentioned, girls and fellows, it's rough now, and it's a hard thing to realize that this is the President of the United States. Well, we didn't make him president, so he's not my president, he's your president. And whether you take him or not, so what? But when you get over this grief, you feel for that, and you're upset about his being the president. Take time to get yourself together, dust yourself off, and start to look for ways to fight him. Make sure you realize that he's only going to be there 4 years, and we can get to 4 years. We're a tough bunch of bitches. We can get through it easily, and we will get through it, Tie yourself up with somebody who believes like you believe, trust like you do, and hold on. Get to do it, because it's not going to be easy. But, what is now, especially now, we can do it, and we shall do it. And when we do, we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. He's not going to last forever, thank God, So hold on, get through it, You accept it, get over it, and go on. Because we got to see this end. It's not going to last forever.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like Major was saying, I was fortunate enough to be an assistant to you as, around 2014. I had interviewed you because I liked to write in my spare time. And you let me interview you at this place in Oakland off MLK. And little did I know that all of a sudden you would have a need for someone to travel with you across the states to tell your story to so many people that consider you a mentor. And as a result of that time with you, I feel like Major has mentored me in a way, and with the book, just wanted to share some of those nuggets that I picked up along the way. In many cases, I was in rooms with you and your friends, tape recording at the time. I'm sure Cayenne had to be on an end of that at some point. You were very generous with letting me sort of hang around and be that little creep in the corner, I guess. I'm just super grateful that Major gave me this, which was the best present that I could have ever gotten, to try to, take some of what I've learned from you and, get it to a wider audience.
Yay.
You talk about wanting the book to be like warm and embracing like a big hug. And this conversation between Toshio and Major over these past 10 years really does feel like a generous embrace for all of us. So thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have anything to say about my outfit?
No.
No. Okay, for the record, I made a choice thinking, okay, Major will love my outfit. She does not. I was definitely wrong. So, okay, thank you. Noted. So much of I feel like how you live is by creating family and creating community and how you organize. And I think something that's like I learned so much is how you love. And I was wondering if you would tell it. Okay, so Major, yeah, Major. Major is an amazing lover, but like she's a romantic, and the romance between you and Beck, and they have a child, a baby, Asaya, who's almost 4 years old. So Major's raised many children in your life and grandchildren, and I don't know how old you are now, but you're some age, and in your age, you're now raising again a 4-year-old, an amazing child. So I was wondering if you would tell us about your life and your love. Tell us about your love story with Beck and how raising a child is right now.
Well, it's
Sorry,
girl.
answer the hearing. They want to hear.
What? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay. Anyway, God, the 4-year-old that I have is a sire, and he's my life. He's just everything possible that you can have in a child, you know. He got to know all the girls and guys that I know he knows, and he likes them all, correct? Yeah. And he's wonderful. Beck is my partner, and his father. So he and I met years ago when he was 22. He's 41 now, and we've been together basically about 20 years, and he's the love of my life, you know. He's true to himself, and that's one thing I must say to all transgender people. To be your own person and to be true to yourself is more wonderful than anything anybody ever can tell you, because you know what it's like to stand on both sides of the fence and make a decision what side you want to stand on. And that, of course, is my love to you always. You know, you all are just strong people, undetermined, and really united together. You know, we have that more than anything else ever in our lives, is that in our soul, in our spirit, in our hearts, we are one. We're all together, you know, and despite what the rest of these straight motherfuckers tell you when you're out here and you're taking abuse from the people, we don't have to. We got ourselves to thank for that, and we must and always stand up for it, because no one on this earth knows what it's like to be a transgender person. And believe me, if something ever goes wrong, another transgender person will help you, not the straight world. Okay?
Boom.
No. So I remember in 2008, you spoke at the Critical Resistance 10 conference. That was 10 years after Critical Resistance started in 1998. In 2008, they had a 10-year anniversary, and you spoke on the main stage, which was an amazing thing, because you were saying trans people, black trans women need to be at the helm of the abolitionist movement. Mm-hmm. And up until that time, you had been doing all this work to connect, to put abolition in the center of trans and LGBT work, and say no to hate crimes laws, no to all this conservative agenda focused on marriage and military, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the actual issues. Let's talk about incarceration. Let's talk about poverty. Let's talk about state violence. And so you have been doing all this work. And then you were doing all this work in the abolitionist movement, and the prisoner rights movement, and the formerly incarcerated movement. And I remember Suhair Hamad, the Palestinian poet, from Brooklyn. She I think spoke after you, and she said, "Miss Major, I am minor next to you."
I remember that.
And I'll always remember that, and the kind of you had this really sweet moment on stage, and you have been in this work for so long, and you have that quality of steadfastness, right? that Arabic word samud, right? The quality of the Palestinian struggle. You embody that to us in so many ways, that steadfastness. And I want to read one of your quotes where you said, "It's like being on a road. It doesn't matter if it's the yellow brick road or pavement or gravel. It's still a road, and wherever it takes you is wherever you're going." And I think the journey is how you use that road. If you stay on it, and the path that it's leading you down, or you venture off and do something else and create a path of your own, after a few journeys, it becomes another road. Part of that journey is realizing you're going to be fine as you are, better than fine. No matter how dark the damn path gets, there's always a light. And if you can't find it, you keep going till you see one. You don't ever, ever give up. You never say, "Shit, I can't do this anymore." Yes, you can. You just have to keep moving forward. It can take years. Some of us are late bloomers, but you figure out how to negotiate this through straight, cisgender world as everybody else does who's not white and doesn't come from money. You have to maintain and hold onto the ground that you're standing on and keep yourself safe and stay strong, which is always how you sign letters. Be safe and stay strong. I don't mean you need to go to a damn gym. But keep yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally strong, because those are the things that are hard to get over. So I just wonder if in this time of fascism, of genocide, of profound odds stacked against all of our communities, if you could speak to, and I know that there can be a feeling of despair for some of us, and that's okay. We can welcome that. We don't need to try to chase that feeling away. I wonder if you can just talk to us about endurance and about what it takes to, you've had many setbacks at many times in your life. What you want to, you started to speak to this, but what do you want to tell us about endurance and about facing this period ahead where it might feel, and to some of us, desperate, like it might feel beyond hope?
You have to believe yourself. You have to rely on you, and in this going through it, it's a very hard thing for anyone to handle and take it and put up with it and do it. But the thing is, we can do it. They're not any stronger than we are. And we have to realize that more than anything else, despite all the shit that comes to you, the stuff that happens every day in your life, we can get through it, and we can make them pay for it, because they have no right to just trounce on us anytime they feel like it, because we're people and we deserve it at all times, anytime we want, So don't take it. Stand up for yourself. Be the person you were meant to be, always and at all times, 24 hours a day. Don't take this shit from nobody at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Toshio, do you want to share what it's been like for you, any reflections you have on this question of steadfastness, of endurance, of persistence in the face of odds that you gleaned from working on the book?
Yeah, I mean, something that gives me some, food for sustenance as, this has been a lifelong kind of fight.
Yeah.
We thought, maybe 6 or 7 years ago when, Laverne was on the cover of Time, maybe things would flip. And they did flip, and in some ways got a little easier, but as we see the flip flipped. And so now we're faced with just, some dark times ahead potentially. But the thing that I hope that people get out of the book is Major's ability to kind of see that light when, like, for example, here we're in New York, where the tail end of your time in New York was when the beginning of the HIV/AIDS crisis began, at the beginning of the HIV/AIDS crisis. And so, a very, very dark time. And just kind of looking back and knowing that Major came out the other end and had a good fucking time, like somehow in spite of it all, that is food to my soul, and hopefully that comes through in the book.
Thanks, yeah. So I know that one of the ways that you are in the world is you find joy and pleasure everywhere. And I think maybe something for all of us that can be hard to access or remember is important, especially in really hard, scary times. So where do you find joy and pleasure, and do you have any advice for all of us to where to find it?
It's easy. Use your eyes, so. Fuck it. You like men, oh, this, that. You like girls, oh, this is a nice girl. And if you're lucky, go with it, child, because you only got this one life. So who's going to know in 100 years you had so-and-so? Fuck them, it don't matter. Have a shit, Go on, child, God knows it. If you don't have them, think of what you're missing. I'm not missing nothing, I'm sorry. Have your cake and eat it too, child.
Okay, use your eyes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay.
There's so much in this book that's about solidarity, across difference, across struggles. And I want to read one thing that you talk about solidarity. You say people consider these struggles, talking about struggles in the Philippines and Japan, consider these struggles random, but they do connect. Because once you've seen it, you can't unsee the abuse that these people go through on top of everything else. I want to show it's all one thing. It doesn't matter what your skin color is, if you're black, brown, white, people from Scotland even, if at some point they had to suffer from all the bullshit, and came here to the United States separate under the rule of law. So I wanted them to know, if they arrest some Japanese guy, they're arresting me. They're beating them up, they're beating me up. That's why it's a matter of general principle, and it includes everyone. When you go to that internment camp, it's just horrifying to see what they went through. We have to oppose that in every shape it might come. And you've been really outspoken over the years in your support of Palestinians, and rejecting the code of silence that can often be in many LGBT spaces that says you can't speak up for Palestinian rights. And I'm just curious, I know all of us are been enraged and grief and horrified at now over 400 days of this genocide of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank and Lebanon. Talk about your why it's been important for you to be visible and vocal about Palestine.
Well, look at the things that they have done there. Just say, you can take the children, for example.
Yeah.
All those kids have died.
Yeah.
And they don't care. The system does not care, And so they move on up the ladder to the parents. They don't care about them. The mothers, they don't care about them, So it is going to not care, I care.
Yeah.
And it's got to stop.
Yeah.
Because it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it, it's wrong, They can't just mull over people any way they feel like because they feel it's right. You know, we have to stop them some way or another.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it takes, we got to get them to realize they're fucking up, and big time. Yeah.
And you spoke from the main stage of the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force's biggest conference, Creating Change, in a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, we're in a moment of like unprecedented support for Palestinian rights, and people have always been speaking up for Palestine. Palestinians have always been speaking up, but it was a different political moment where you when you made that speech on the main stage of Creating Change.
Yeah.
And we just want to say thank you for doing that.
No, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you have had criticisms of the mainstream LGBT movement, and you have,
Oh, God,
yeah, and
yes.
you've made them very clear.
Jesus.
You have made them very clear, and you know, I'm going to read you another quote. I'm sorry to read your words back to you, but I just want to get them in the room. Sometimes, okay, this is what she says: whatever it is you're asking for, ask for more. Sometimes they'll try to get away with giving you something you can't actually live off of. Because at some point, the motherfuckers decided the thing to do was to give dead trans women a bronze plaque in the sidewalk and call it a day. Just like the one outside Compton's cafeteria in the Tenderloin. You wouldn't know it was there if you tripped and fell and it hit you in the middle of your forehead. So if they try to pull that shit, what you do is say, woo, thank you very much. That's so very nice of you. But the thing is, I don't know anyone who's ever lived on a plaque. That plaque better be the size of a 2-bedroom apartment. Instead of a plaque in the sidewalk, how about the building next to it? Because landlords don't want to rent to my community in the first place. And paying rent today, you're talking about 3 or 4 jobs with 3 or 4 roommates just to afford a little place where you can lay your head down to rest. I don't even know the question I want to ask you. Can you just respond? Can you just respond?
Hey, well, could you live on a plaque?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I believe you.
Then
No
I
one's ever been
can't
able to.
either.
Yeah. What a
No.
perfect way of saying it. I don't know anyone who's ever been able to live on a plaque.
Nobody.
These symbolic offerings that we're told to substitute for actual justice.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah.
No, they can't do it. You know, it's like, you know, it's this thing over lesbians and gays. Well, that's nice, but the transgender people are back there.
Right.
Well, and what are we supposed to do about it?
Right.
Fuck that shit. I want to be up front. You know, this LGBTQ, it should be T first and then LGBTQ, not the other way around. They take that shit and shove it for the sun don't shine and enjoy it. Motherfuckers.
You also talk about how important it is for us to have, you use the words a united front. And you say
Yeah.
we need to have a united front that connects across all of our struggles.
Yes.
And that this means getting into conflict and things getting hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, but I'm not there to condemn people or pass judgment, or not here to ridicule them. Now, if you want to read me, let's go at it. Because, honey, I'll read your ass. But in terms of, you know what, hold on, sorry. That's not exactly the quote that I meant to read. I really want to get you the right quote. Sorry, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Toshio, is there any quotes in the book or any moments when you were working on it together that jumped out at you that you want to make sure we hold? And
Along the lines of what Morgan, I think you were getting at was, yeah, like, I mean, one of the most amazing things that I think you've been able to do in all your work, in work that involves a lot of trauma and a lot of people who have come from traumatic backgrounds, and therefore, you know, there can be some drama. And you've been able to float above a lot of that drama. I mean, I commend you for that. As you said, yeah, It's hard to pick a favorite quote. Did you find the quote?
I found another quote.
Perfect.
Okay? Because that's the thing about the book, y'all. There's a lot of quotes in here that you're going to...
Right.
I think... Did you would keep going? Or you were pausing? Okay, you were passing it back. Okay, all right, I'm going to read you another quote. You talk about again the mentorship and the leadership, the support that Big Black gave you, who is Cayenne's. What's your relationship? Stepdad. Okay, so we honor him and okay, got it. You say with Black, as far as leadership goes, it was on you to decide what you could handle from your position. He taught us and told us it was up to you to take what you needed and put the other stuff aside. It was the first time I'd realized I was in control that way and that I could put the other stuff aside. The idea came back into my consciousness when I was working with the girls, and so I applied it with the girls and it worked, to see that everybody suffered. That one is luckier than the other, it doesn't do anyone any good to think like that. Not if the idea is to get some kind of movement more than 2.5 inches off the ground. We all struggle. I just wonder, we organized together for many, many years in the TIP committee and the TGI Justice Project. We've worked very closely together. I'm just wondering what any kind of lessons or reflections you have about working together, which, as we know in this room, is not always easy. Do you have any reflections about what it means to try to keep building coalition, keep building a united front when things get hard?
Well, the thing is, you've got to give people a chance to get those ideas out of themselves, because you can have a great idea, but you can't verbalize it. You can't get it out there. And so the fact that you can't say, well, I have the answers and they don't. Give people a chance, everybody, and then you let it come out, and then it may give you a reason to go on further, and always do that, because who knows when you're going to need it and when it's going to help you. Always.
I've also personally seen you just come back from falling outs, really just come back into connection with people after major disagreement. And I just wonder if you have any reflection about that, about disagreement and how to come back after it.
No, you just let it go. Fuck it. The inside's their opinion. Bye. I ain't got no time. Don't work,
Yeah. I think that's a big part of your...
Yeah.
Yeah. Praxis.
For sure.
Yeah. So...
Yeah. I was just going to, last question, and then we're going to open it up to everybody. So if you have a question you've been thinking about, it's almost your time. I guess my question is, how do you keep this, larger perspective on things? You don't get nervous about things that don't matter. You don't expend energy on, tiny bullshit that I would be you're whatever, it doesn't matter. How do you keep that kind of larger perspective on what's worth really fighting a thing for, and what's fuck it, who cares?
Well, think about it. You said it. Why do you care? I mean, look, in so many years from now, you're not going to remember this, but things that's important to you, you will remember. So why trip? It's not worth it, You're going to have a headache over it, and you're going to never feel home tonight, especially those flowers in the hair. God.
I'm not going to sweat that. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm just going to let it go.
Good.
It's happening right now. Okay, so we would love to now shift towards audience questions. We want to hear from you all.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. My name is Angel. I've done a lot of different kinds of grassroots fundraising and organizing since I was 17, 18, all about trans people and trying to get us money and access to resources, and trans people access to things like abortion or rent funds or hormones. And my question to you is, in this time of organizing, oftentimes I feel as though people want to unite under different groups or acronyms like LGBT or even transgender identity. But a lot of times I've been seeing myself get frustrated because, in my experience, I don't think people understand the specific lived experience of being a Black transgender person. And as we are tackling these giant problems and oppressions that we've always faced since the beginning of queer history, I feel challenged that a lot of people seem to not understand the specific problems that Black trans people are facing and that are going through. And as we face these big obstacles, I understand that unity and working together is a way to tackle them because it feels impossible to do it alone. And my struggle is sometimes I don't believe that the larger transgender community as a whole is really going to look out for Black trans people, Black trans women that have been leading this movement from the beginning until we're gone or until we're hurting or we're in a situation that's endangering our lives. Mm-hmm. And as we enter this new phase of yet another evil president, I think people are reactive and they're like, oh no, I'm scared for my rights, which is true because a lot of things are changing and are going to change. But sometimes I wonder if people step outside of themselves and realize who is going to more immediately be affected by these changes, who has always been affected by these changes the most. And it feels difficult because I want to have hope and I want to find the joy and I want to find the unity between people in our community to work together to take down the beast that is racism, transphobia, fascism, the whole 9 yards. But it feels difficult. It feels like people aren't willing to understand that they themselves can be a part of the problem even if they're transgender. And I want to be able to find unity and camaraderie with the people in my community to work together to make a change. But I sometimes doubt people's solidarity with other Black trans people, specifically Black trans women. And I guess my question is, how do I work through that? Because I never want to stop. I don't want to give up. But sometimes it does feel challenging. And I hope that everybody in this room can ask themselves that same question and constantly be challenging themselves and open to critique and open to learning.
Well, first of all, you got to really work at it because what you're going through, you're going through it, so you have to take the time to calm down and then work it out with the prisoners or people that you are in contact with, because it's not that they're oblivious to what you have to go through, but they have their own set of problems that you have to work with. So you got to work with yours and you have to work with theirs. But you have to let them speak theirs first, always, because then they'll think that you are interested in helping them. When you do that, they will in turn will start to help you. And then you work it together and go to the next one and do the same thing again. But you never want to take your position and put it first because people don't understand that. They just don't. And whether the straight world gets it or not, they don't ever get it. Whether they're educated, they know what it is, they know they can explain transgenders and all that shit, but they don't have no concept of what it's like for a transgender person. Or this shit would have it in the White House already. They wouldn't have this orange motherfucker needed for this world. So that's what you have to do. And when you do that, it will work. And if you have a problem, call me. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
Hi, Miss Major. My name's Hannah, and right now I'm starting college, and I've been studying a bit of queer theory and critical race theory in like an academic setting for the first time. And it's been very exciting. Like I love kind of philosophizing about it and hearing how different people frame these issues. But you know, when class is over and I am just sitting, realizing all we did was talk. And that can feel pretty frustrating sometimes, even if the ideas feel really interesting to discuss. I've been thinking about like moving into more of a social work area. But I was just wondering what you think people in academia and working in these like spaces of philosophy and theory can do to help practically apply their findings and thoughts into practical grassroots movements.
Well, first thing what they have to do is don't just learn it in the classroom. Go.
Sorry.
What is your problem, child?
I just wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Like
You want to push it, fuck it, yeah, fuck it. But you have to speak in the class.
I want them to be able to hear you. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
God, give it a rest. Look, what you learn in the classroom is good, but take it out to the streets. You got to socialize it. You can take these conversations you speak in the classroom, and they're good ideas. They mean something. But take it to the people outside and have that conversation. See what you get back, because you'll be surprised at what they know outside there. And everything doesn't come from there. You can't learn everything from a book. It's what you learn in practical, in the real world. And that'll do it, honey. It'll open you up to a whole new world of that stuff.
Thank you.
Well, sure enough.
More questions? And also just to say, the thumping we're hearing, it's a dance class and it means they've gotten to the leaping portion of of their class, so it's okay. It happens every time around 9 p.m. when they start leaping. I'm gonna come around here. Yeah, exactly. A little lighter on their feet, please. Okay.
Hi, Ms. Major. My name is Juan Reina. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much from my heart. Like, the freedoms that I have, like, are because of you. So thank you from my heart so much.
You're welcome, honey.
So my question to you is, you've been through Stonewall, you've been through Attica, you've been through all these things, right? When you begin to feel fear in your heart, what are some things that you do? It could be, I don't know, dancing, it could be listening to music, it could be meditating. But just advice for people in the room who you know, are going to be experiencing fear, you know, till the day they die, probably. So just some advice, some practical advice.
Well, what I do is, you know, if I happen to feel odd or at sorts with stuff, I turn to myself and I go outside and walk in the grounds. I have what you would call, I don't know, a garden, you know. I mush my feet in the dirt and stuff. I dance. Well, I used to dance. I'll dance some more. But I spin around in my wheelchair, you know, bucket, you know, whatever I have to do. And then I feel good, better about myself, you know. And whatever you have to do, just do it. You know, there's no such thing as shame, embarrassment, or whatever have you. If you're enjoying it, go for it, child. No matter what it is, you know. If you like jumping up and down, jump up and down. You know, don't pay anybody no attention. Do what you need to do. Because when you do it, you go back to your normal self. Okay?
Thank you.
No. Thank you, baby.
More questions? Yeah.
Hi. First of all, my name's Valerie. First of all, I just wanted to thank you so much for the work you do as well. And I want to thank you, Toshio, for this amazing book. I'm writing on this book right now as part of my dissertation. And it's such a beautiful book. I really love how much you love and how much you focus on love. But recently I've been thinking a lot about anger and rage as well. Rage over how I'm treated and how my community is treated, how people in Palestine are treated. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on anger and rage and how that plays into your life and your activist work, and also maybe that's relationship to love as well.
Well, what you have to do is realize that everybody on this earth needs love, you know? And so you love them, but keep in mind what they're doing to get that, you know? And they're not doing it right. They're not going about it right. And so give them what they need, but give yourself all the room in the world that you need so that you and your people can love freely, love passionately, love one another, not them. You know, when they come around to it and it eventually will stop, then you can see whether or not they're worth it. If they're not, child, pass them by. Next. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, here. Great. Great. On deck.
Hi, Ms. Major. My name is Masha. I was curious, you talked about the importance of resistance generally and also in this moment. And I was curious, what forms of resistance and direct action do you see in your own community that you think show the most promise in this moment?
Well, I'm in the transgender community, so any action they take, I'm going to take it with them. You know, you have to realize that, you know, in this thing, you have to pick whatever it is, it's going to have some semblance of working, you know. And so, since I'm transgendered, I work with them, you know. And it will work. It's just a matter of time. That's the clue with everything. It's going to take time. We can't just blow him away or blow up the White House, you know. You're going to have to take our time. But we will. And, you know, when we get together, all of us work together as one force, he won't be here long. 4 years is nothing. We can handle that. You know, we're a tough bunch of bitches, honey. We will take to it.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, God.
She got me with shit.
Yeah.
Mama, Ona, Toshio, Morgan, I love you all. Mama, we're living in hard times. And it ain't gonna be hard for long. But we have a dance, a small dance from now till January. And I'm sure we need to be organizing in ways that make sense right now. And we have a lot of young people in this room and a lot of people in college and a lot of people writing papers, and your whole class is here. Where are they at? And right now we need these people to write to our government, to write to our protectors, write to the people that have the control to create change and to build securities for ourselves. This young woman just got off a plane from Prague probably today or yesterday. And for a black trans woman to go to Prague we're doing something right as far as the transgender black community. We're literally protecting ourselves and being in spaces where we're not normally. Now that we always needed your help and your guidance. It's practically like we all came up out of you. Don't take that personal, but right now we need the most encouraging things for you to tell us about from now to January, and what should we be doing to move forward and move forward with power and strength and conviction to commit to save each other's lives, because that's what we have to do. What can you tell these young people that they're going to get, and they're going to go back to their schools and go back to some of their privilege and get these people to invest in saving lives, because we need saving, not now, but in the future as well.
Well, you know, the thing is that they've got to grieve as it can over what has happened, and then pull themselves together. Don't give all their hopes. Don't let go of their dreams. Don't let go of their ambitions. Fight it, and then get together and work with the people that you know have the same ideas you have, and in this next 20 days to build that up, get it stronger, get it where there's nothing that's going to tear it down. And when he takes over, then give him absolute, total fucking hell all the time, every day, no break in this at all. Then we'll get what we want. At the end of 4 years, we'll move on. God knows. We got to.
Thank you. We have time for maybe one or two questions. So I've been on this side of the room for a little while. I'm going to come over here. Maybe another question or two. We have another follow-up. Okay, but maybe one question over here. Anybody? Going once, going, okay.
Hi, Ms. Major. My name is Amal. Thank you for being here. I have a question about working together.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about what do you do? So it's a two-part question. One is, when you make a mistake and you have to recover from it, what do you do? And two, when someone on your team errs and you have to forgive them, how do you move through that?
I will eat. I forgive them. And once I have, that's it. You're not going to, don't dwell on what somebody did wrong. You know, because everybody, me included, make mistakes. As far as what I did wrong, fuck it, I didn't do nothing wrong, child. Come at me. That's bullshit.
And there it is. One last question, maybe a last word question here. We'll come back, second round.
Hi, sorry for taking the mic again. I just wanted to follow up from what Kyan said. I actually was just in Prague to be a part of a musical festival there of Black artists, and there's not that many Black people in Prague at all.
No, well.
At all. It was very white there. But I remember feeling so happy that I could be a part of a lineup of Black artists, and I think I was the only Black trans woman that they've ever booked in the festival
you
before.
probably were, and good for you that you were there. Yay! God damn it, that's wonderful.
I remember being so excited, and then I got there, and immediately when I was in my artist cab, this white man just came up and started screaming and calling me an N-word and using, with the hard R, mind you, and the T slur. And I was so crestfallen, and I remember they had me, I was at the hotel, and they were having us sign the artist's book, and it was in front of a portrait of Ivanka Trump because she used to spend a lot of time at the hotel that we were at. And I just remember it being so tone deaf and everybody on the team not treating the situation seriously and not understanding how traumatic that was. And luckily, the other artist I was traveling with is also Black, who was like, she's gonna need more time before we go on stage, and we're gonna need more time to prepare, and y'all are not gonna rush us. But I remember earlier in the night when you were talking about the struggles of people internationally and people across different identities and experiences, Japanese folks, and then also Palestinian folks as well. You know, a lot of my Palestinian friends will tell me what cross sections of oppressions they have to deal with in being Palestinian and trans and queer. And I was earlier on my tour this summer when I was in Tokyo, my friends were telling me how hard it is there to be transsexuals and to get your hormones and to get your surgeries in a place like East Asia and different places over there. And what I've realized is a lot of people will think America is the home of fascism and the home of transphobia and racism, when actually this is a worldwide phenomenon. Everywhere, Black trans women are in danger. Everywhere, Palestinian people are in danger. And we could go down the list of how many people are at risk and facing problems for their identity while also being trans people. And my thing is, I think it's easy for people to look inward in what's happening right in front of them, because those are the conditions that are gonna affect how we wake up and what problems we're gonna deal with every day. But in actuality, this is a worldwide phenomenon that we all need to be in conversation with and work together. But sometimes, to me, it can feel so hard to just try to deal with the things that are happening in my own neighborhood or my own circles of people that I'm organizing with, or things here in the States. But really, this problem is so much bigger than Donald Trump. This problem is so much bigger than just the American government. And when we think of trans rights and trans access across the world, we're not free until the most oppressed populations in the world are free. We can't get to freedom and liberation until we tackle this. So my question is, how do we keep working at the problems in our own community at home while pushing the importance of making those connections, making those friendships, making those relationships, and spreading around the words of people that live in different places that are facing different kinds of transphobia and racism and anti-Blackness and anti-Palestinian sentiment everywhere? I think, to summarize that all, I just talked a lot. How do we work with people beyond just our community? How do we connect these problems? I think it's very easy to become individualistic. I think especially people in America, it's easy to become individualistic. But the problem is so much bigger than just us. The problem is so much bigger than just our government. And sometimes it feels like it can be a lot to tackle altogether. Do you have any advice for how to connect other problems in the world with each other? Because they're all a part of the same coin. They're trying to get us everywhere, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, trans people are at the bottom of the totem pole, the very bottom. There's nothing any worse than being a trans person. And then there's the next set of people and the next set of people. So what we have to do is get together ourselves first. And then as we stand up, they'll start to lean, and they'll lean, and they'll lean. You know, because it's not only just that one thing, you know, because this thing with Trump, We are the #1 country in this world that they pay attention to. So whether we believe it or not, he runs the entire world, and they all look up to the United States. So we have to pay attention to what he says and what he does. He lies like a fucking dog. Everything out his mouth is a lie, you know, and he won on that. So what does that tell you? Not only is it that wrong, but it's man versus woman. They don't want no woman at all, anytime, telling them what to do. And so that wall has to come down. Eventually, it must come down, you know. And so when we fight it, we have to start and believe in ourselves, and then we can slowly but surely get up and stand for everybody else. Because there's no other choice. We have to do it that way, or it's not the way it's at all done. But we can do it, girl. You can do it. She can do it. I can do it.
Thank you.
Of course.
So we're about to close, but we just want to name you. We didn't get to talk too much about House of Gigi's, the oasis for Black trans people that you run in the South, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And you can Google House of Gigi's and find out about it, which you lead. It's now 7 years old, and we all are committed to making sure you have everything you need all the time. And so we have a collective retirement fund for whenever Miss Major decides to retire. Okay? And so can someone hold up the cards on that table? Yes. So there's a Venmo, and we're going to ask you all contribute to that retirement fund. Okay? So we take care of our elders.
A free event. Everybody gets to contribute to the retirement fund, right?
Let's hear it for this incredible book, and let's hear it for the legendary, visionary Miss Major.
Thank you all so much. We have books over here along this wall. Please buy them. Feel free to hang a little bit. We'll start eventually picking up the chairs, but thank you so much for coming.